This Senate Resolution 542 was passed last week. I'd like to read from it and then hand it off to the Armenian National Committee. In addition to this Senate resolution, there is a House resolution authored by Rashad Taylor, Representative Rashad Taylor from the city of Atlanta, and he will, so I'm standing in for him in that regard. But the resolution reads thusly: honoring the worldwide victims of genocide and recognizing April 22nd, 2011 as Georgia's Day of Remembrance of the American Genocide of 1915 to 1923 for other purposes. Whereas 1.5 million men, women, and children of Armenian descent were the victims of the brutal genocide perpetrated by the Turk government of the Ottoman Empire from 1915 to 1923, and whereas the Armenian genocide and massacres of Armenian people have been recognized as an attempt to eliminate all traces of a thriving and noble civilization over 3,000 years old, and whereas the denial of the American genocide by the present day Turkish government continues to antagonize the Armenian people concerning their own rightful place in history, and whereas by raising awareness and openly condemning the atrocities committed against the Armenians, Georgians are reminded of the need for constant vigilance in order to prevent similar atrocities in the future. And whereas recognition of the anniversary of this genocide is crucial to guarding against the repetition of future genocides and educating people about the atrocities connected to these horrific events, and whereas as home to over 500 Armenian families, Armenian Americans living in Georgia have greatly enriched our state through their leadership in business, agriculture, academia, government, and the arts. Now therefore be it resolved by the Senate that the members of the body join the Armenian community in honoring the memory of the victims of genocide throughout the world and recognize this day, April 22nd, 2011, as Georgia's Day of Remembrance of the Armenian Genocide of 1915 to 1923. Be it further resolved that the Senate calls upon the people of Georgia to observe that day by honoring the 1.5 million people of Armenian ancestry who lost their lives during that terrible time. Be it further resolved that the Secretary of the Senate, is authorized and directed to transmit an appropriate copy of this resolution to the Armenian Independent Cultural Association of Atlanta, Incorporated. Senate Resolution 542 by Senator Ford of the 39th, adopted in the Senate April 28, 2011.
I would like to invite our next guest speaker, Robert Conley, from Honorable City Mayor Kasim Reed's office, $20 Phoenix Award and letter of congratulations.
Good evening. Potter. Asbestos. I bring greetings on behalf of the City of Atlanta and the Honorable Kasim Reed, Mayor of Atlanta. On behalf of the citizens of Atlanta, I want to express my deepest sympathy as we remember the 1.5 million Armenian men, women, and children who lost their lives during the Armenian Genocide. Remembering it is truly special because it offers a dual promise. It provides a unique opportunity to reflect upon the past experience that make us who we are, while also embracing the potential of a brighter tomorrow. This year marks the 96th anniversary of the Armenian Genocide, highlighted an annual worldwide day of remembrance to the grave Committee against the Armenian people between 1915 and 1923. As you assemble to commemorate this tragic occurrence, I salute the Armenian community for all that you do to advance human rights. Your promotion of a public dialogue regarding this genocide, its legacy will surely inspire positive race relations and build a strong foundation for the unity within our community. While I regret that I am unable to join you during this year's commemorative activity, I applaud your awe-inspiring courage in the face of imaginable human loss. It is thoroughly your leadership, serving others, sharing faith, and gathering in fellowship that you have been able to move forward as a community with grace, dignity, and love. On behalf of the people of Atlanta, we affirm our belief in tolerance and justice on Armenian Genocide's Remembrance Day and every day afterwards. Sincerely, Kasim Reed, Honorable Mayor of the City of Atlanta. Another letter from the mayor. Congratulations on behalf of the people of Atlanta. I commend the Atlanta Armenian community. As you assemble to commemorate the 1.5 million Armenian men, women, and children who lost their lives during the Armenian Genocide. This year's 96th anniversary of the genocide highlights an annual worldwide day of remembrance of the grace atrocities committed against the Armenian people between 1915 and 1923. Today, I salute the Armenian community for all that you do to advance human rights. Your promotion of a public dialogue regarding the genocides and its legacy will surely inspire positive race relationships and build a strong foundation for unity within the community. On behalf of the people of Atlanta, we affirm our beliefs in tolerance and justice on Armenian Genocide Remembrance Day and every day afterwards. The Honorable Kasim Reed, Mayor of Atlanta.
To invite our next guest speaker, Honorable Superior Court Judge Thelma Cummings Whittemore, for her speech.
I join you once again on this occasion. I come before you to bring tribute to the Armenian community of Georgia, and indeed to all Armenians on this, the 96th anniversary of the Armenian Genocide. April 24th, 1915 marked the beginning of the systematic elimination of the Armenian people in the Ottoman Empire by the Turks. It is important to recall this horrible chapter in history, not only to commemorate the courage, strength, and energy of the Armenian people, but also to ensure that history does not repeat itself. Beginning in 1915, the Ottoman Empire carried out a genocidal plot against the Armenian community. From 1915 to 1923, approximately 1.5 million Armenian people, including religious, political, and intellectual leaders, lost their lives due to starvation, torture, and disease. More than 500,000 Armenians were exiled from their homes, and by the end of 1923, the entire Armenian population of Anatolia and Western Armenia had been killed or deported. During this bleak period for the Armenian people, hope was temporarily restored on May 28, 1918, when Armenian refugees, with the help of volunteers from abroad, defeated a Turkish attack and gained freedom. Unfortunately, in 1920, the Soviet Union joined with the Ottoman forces to attack and defeat Armenia, whose people were subjugated by these foreign powers for the next 70 years. It was not until 1991, after the breakup of the Soviet Union, that the independence of the Armenian people was restored and the Republic of Armenia was born. Although independence has been gained, Armenia's struggle still continues. There have been many efforts to deny the Armenian genocide and to discredit scholarship on this historical event. However, the suffering inflicted upon the Armenian people, the oldest Christian nation in the world, must not be forgotten or denied. The horror of these events must not be concealed, because only through education and communication can we mend the wounds inflicted by this tragic incident in history. It is our duty to salute the Armenian people, for it reminds us that we must all work together to discourage prejudice and discrimination, to hold steadfast to the view that genocide will not be tolerated, and to make certain that it is never again repeated.
Now, I would like to invite our next guest speaker, Honorable City Councilman C.D. Morgan, for proclamation.
To join the other members of the distinguished group of citizens of Atlanta, government representatives, who in our hearts are with you and with what has happened for a long, long time now in your efforts to substantiate your organization and to have it grow and to continue putting forth good educational materials and information to let the whole world know what's going on in your progress. Particularly, I support our friend who is working so very hard. It's great to have leadership. Let's give him a hand. To be a spokesperson and a person that mobilizes us every year and throughout the year, this very worthwhile causes. You have heard most of the whereases coming from the mayor's office that speaks to the governmental words that are often a part of these proclamations. This is the City Council's proclamation, and we on this day do hereby recommend and on behalf of the citizens of Atlanta recognize your day in the city of Atlanta. This is signed by Councilperson Cecil Mitchell, President, and Councilperson C.T. Martin.
To invite Chief Jimmy Carter from Sheriff Ted Jackson's office, Fulton County Sheriff's Office.
Good evening. Good evening. You know, last year when I did this, I tried to do some Armenian